2025 has been very uniquely memorable. Random podium finishes, the flock of new rookies, Oscar falling off a cliff, and Max and Lando stepping up their game have all culminated to create such a special season in Formula One. I feel like most people have been quite disappointed by this season because of what was promised last season. McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull all had cars capable of victory. We never knew who was going to come out on top, although McLaren clearly had the best package overall. The season started off as expected. Norris won the chaotic Australian Grand Prix, although he did nearly fumble the win by taking lessons from Nikita Mazepin and going off into the grass. The China sprint race was somehow won by Lewis Hamilton, who took a convincing win. Lewis had managed to take victory on his second time of asking in the Ferrari. Ferrari fans were given a huge burst of hope, only for that to be taken away from them after the double DSQ. A mistake a team like Ferrari would be expected to make, honestly. The rest of Ferrari's season doesn't need to be mentioned here. They'll be back in 2026, mark my words. After Oscar won the main China race, people started to worry. The McLaren looked like a spaceship, like a car that was as dominant as Max Verstappen's in 2023. But fans forgot that Formula One is a sport full of surprises. For me, this season came alive in the last 5 or 6 races. It looked like Oscar had the championship under wraps after the Dutch Grand Prix, as he took victory and Lando had a DNF. Oscar extended his championship lead to 34 points and was way ahead of Max. Most fans would look at that gap and think that Oscar had it in the bag. He was in strong form and well ahead of both Lando and Max. But then, Oscar decided to check out for the rest of the season. He's literally only been on the podium once in the last 6 race weekends. This man's fall-off genuinely needs to be studied. Oscar went from a guy who was ice cold, winning almost half of the races, to absolutely nowhere in pace. It started to snowball in Baku, where he not only crashed in qualifying, which put him down in P9, but then stalled at the start and then crashed on the opening lap. Like, does Oscar have a secret twin who has never driven before or something? And after that, Oscar has crashed in both of the sprint races, but at least he took Lando with him in the United States sprint, I guess. Oscar, above all else, has just been slow. Like, way off Lando. McLaren hasn't changed the car, so what on earth has gone wrong? Well, Mark Webber is his manager, so maybe Oscar's learning from him how to throw a championship. I can't complain. Oscar's downfall, coupled with Max's brilliance, has totally revived this season. I will say this right now. If it weren't for Max Emilian Verstappen, this season would have been as dead as a doornail. Sure, we would have been guaranteed to get a new drivers' champion, but like, do Lando or Oscar really deserve to win the championship, purely based off of them having a rocket ship? Max has somehow managed to take 5 victories this season. Like, I'm glazing Max a lot here, but I think that if you gave this man the McLaren, it would all be over by now. In particular, his Japan and Imola victories were unbelievable. His pole lap for Japan was one of the best of his career, and his overtake on Piastri at Imola? Man, it was one of the smoothest overtakes of the season. The fact that Max has even put himself into title contention is astounding. I know it's a long shot at this stage, but if Lando has a crash at Las Vegas, which he has so before, and Max wins, then it's all on again. Call me delusional, but Max isn't out of this title fight yet. I can't talk about this season without mentioning Lando. Lando has kind of been in his own realm. He hasn't been brilliant, but he hasn't really had periods of disaster either. Lando, as the championship leader, has been consistently strong across the season. If he is champion, I'll accept that. He has been good enough, in my view, to be worthy of winning it all. His only major bad weekends have been Baku, where he hit the wall on his flying lap in qualifying and ended up 7th, Saudi, where he crashed in qualifying and ended up 4th, and Canada, where he crashed into Oscar. I will admit that Lando has had a lot of bad luck this season. He had a streak of 6 pit stops in a row that were over 3 seconds, and got hit by Oscar Piastri in the United States Sprint, and had a technical DNF in the Netherlands. He deserves the title more than Oscar at this stage in my view, because Oscar has had little bad fortune all season, and has not driven as well across it. Although the championship battle over these last few races has been an absolute blast, I can't talk about the season without talking about the shock results. Hadjar, Hulkenberg and Sainz all finishing on the podium is mind-boggling, especially Hulkenberg. The guy literally hadn't had a podium in his 15-year Formula 1 career. He came so close on multiple occasions, but just never managed to do it. By the way in which Hulkenberg got it was hilarious. He literally started way down in 19th, was on an insane strategy, and ended up 3rd in his dustbin, beating Lewis Hamilton to the podium. What makes this even funnier is Lewis is yet to achieve a podium with Ferrari still, but Charles has gotten 5 this season. Like, bro's just gotta pack it up at this point. The guy who you replaced, the guy who hadn't had a podium his whole career, and a rookie all got podiums before you did this season. I feel like this season has been surprisingly entertaining. The result may say otherwise. It may be as we all expected after the first few races. However, I feel like I speak for lots of fans when I say that Max's and Lando's comebacks and Oscar's fall-off have been so entertaining for us fans. Like, thinking back to after the Netherlands, if you said to me that in 6 races time, Lando will be leading Oscar by 24 points and Max to be behind Oscar by 25, I would have thought you lost all sense of reality, but here we are. Well, that's all from me. The 2025 Formula 1 season has definitely stood out to me. Not because of an incredibly dramatic title fight like 2021, or having 4 teams fighting for race wins like 2024, well, 3 including Max Verstappen. On paper, it looks like Lando will easily wrap up this championship, but if you actually watch the season, you know it's been a mix of domination, chaos, collapses, and career-defining moments that people aren't giving enough credit to.